Welcome everyone. We're back to the Sports After Party podcast. Afo, how you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. The sun's shining. We've got the Olympics going on at the moment. Got the Premier League coming soon. I'm feeling nice right now, bro. Feeling nice. How you doing?
Yeah, man, I'm always good, always good. The sun is hot
It's
these
sunny.
days.
Hey, serious.
I'm not a summer kind of guy. I can't lie to you, man. I like it when it's nice and chilly outside, but um, you know, the vibe's always better during summer though. So it's all good. It's all good. But I'm enjoying the
Yeah,
Olympics though for sure.
yeah, you just came back from Nigeria. How was Nigeria, bro? Obviously,
What do you mean? You just came
yeah,
back
I was
from
Nigeria,
Nigeria
bro.
as well.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
obviously
no,
you first.
Nigeria,
I was
Nigeria was good.
Nigeria.
Nigeria was great. Special moment. I proposed to the missus out there, so yeah, it's a good time to be alive. And then obviously we attended a pretty fun wedding as well, man. So I can't lie, it was a good trip. Good trip.
Movie settings, man. Movie settings.
Well, look, Afo, obviously, we don't want to keep our guests waiting. So
Yeah.
we have two very, very, very special guests with us today who are going to chop it up about athletics and the Olympics and, a little bit of everything. So, Afo, over to you to introduce them.
Just a Jay, we have two sprinters in the building. So, we start off with what the stats say. So we'll start off with Daniel. Daniel Offiah. I thought I'll say the Nigerian pronunciation for you guys. But coming in at 10.36 in 100 meters, represented England in 2023 in the 4x100 relay, coached by British sprinting royalty, Linford Christie, and actually got feature, so apparently, in the new documentary. So we'll be watching that this weekend. And now running for Thames Valley Harriers in the British National League. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Daniel Fear and Jordan. And and to include, it's not just Daniel in the building, we also have Oliver Bromby in the building, coming in at 10.12. We've got some proper sprinters out here. Proper sprinters coming at 10.12 in the 100 meters. Currently training at Speedworks London. Has competed in the European Indoor Championships, won a European under 2300 meter silver medal, multiple GP selections at senior and age group competitions, and repping the Southampton Running Club at the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Oliver Bromby in the building as well. Proper runners today, man. Proper track stars.
Proper sprinters, man. Oh, wait, Afo, what was your quickest time?
So I stopped running at 15. So the fastest I did at that point was 11.3. So, it's obviously like, I wasn't an adult, still a young boy, still a young boy.
Boys,
But 15, fastest time I did was
at
11.3.
15, is 11.3 pretty impressive, or is that standard?
I was on about the Safola like 20 minutes ago. I was like, I think at 15, I think I ran like 11.2. So maybe if you carried on,
Hey.
it means something.
Yeah, no, Afo was our sprint king at our school back in the day. So no, that's cool. Now, boys, how are you guys doing, man? Like,
Yeah, don't forget, back in those days as well, we were running on the grass. We're doing trainings. I wasn't really having the opportunity to be on the track. So obviously slowed down by the grass a little bit. But today's not about me, innit? Let's talk about the boys.
Sweet. Now, Oliver, Daniel, how are you boys doing, man?
Yeah,
Not
I'm
too
doing
bad,
good.
not too bad.
Enjoying some of the Olympics. Yeah, it's
Yeah, for
it's a
sure.
good time for sport.
Love
For
that.
sure.
Love that, man. So obviously we've got two guests today, so we'll direct questions at you boys one at a time. But let's start with you, Ollie. Tell us, man, how have you? When did you first know that you were quick? All right, and then what has the progression been like since then?
So for me, my sister had like a school sports day in like, I don't know, it was like preschool. So I wasn't even at school yet. Um, and they had like a sibling race, and it was for any age group or whatever. It's like you could have 10-year-olds, you could have 3-year-olds. It was just a line of kids that ran from one end of a field to another. And me barely being, I don't know, barely being able to walk at this point. Okay, not quite that point, but getting to a point where I'm like, okay, he can actually move now. He can move, he can run. I managed to win that sibling school race against 10-year-olds and stuff like that. And then I also did cross country in junior school, and my PE teacher was like the cross country person, and she also worked for Southampton Athletics Club, and she always noticed that I'd like speed off at the start and always die at the end. And then pretty much said to my parents, take him down the athletics track because he might be half decent.
Fair play, man. Fair
Yeah,
play.
the rest is history.
And has it always been straight athletics? Have you ever played any other sports? Were you a budding footballer at one point?
I'm shocking at football. I played rugby. I think I could have been a good rugby player, but yeah,
Okay.
Oh, man, you done all right.
I'm away.
Done all right, Will.
yeah,
We could have done sevens. We had sevens at the Olympics. Team GB.
yeah. I think maybe I don't know if I could put enough weight on to be 15s, but sevens could have done something.
No, fair play.
How much do you weigh? So again, that's something that they talk about a lot in American sports. They talk about height and weight. So what's weight? What's height? Again, just
I'm
yeah.
5'10",
Okay.
rounded up slightly. Currently I'm about 76 kilos, but I'm still recovering from an episode or something that happened in April. So I'll get more into that later, where I lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Definitely trying a bit. And Daniel, how about you, bro? When did you know you were quick? And tell us a little bit about your journey up until now.
Well, for me, it was always football. So uh, from under sevens, pretty much till I was 17, 18, it was just football. Um, I did a bit of triple jump in school, but in terms of sprinting, I think I was in my last year of college. I I was playing a levers game, our school levers game, and then someone on the other team asked me how fast I run 100 meters. And I was like, I've never done it. And they just suggested, yeah, you should try it. So that I was like, okay, I did a couple meets that year. Alongside triple jump, I joined Kent Athletics Club. I think I ran 11.3, so similar to Afo.
Hey,
And then when I went to uni, again, it was deciding between sprinting or football. I think the trials were on the same day. Um, I couldn't even tell you why, but I just like, oh, I'll just go to the track one. And that is when I joined Oli's training group in Southampton. With our coaches were called Gary and Sarah. Again, wasn't taking it as seriously as I do now, but we were training 3-4 times a week, having fun. Yeah,
wow.
it was a good time. And then when I did my masters at Brunel and met Linford and joined his group. Started to take it a bit more seriously. I mean, you can't not take it seriously when Linford's your coach. So yeah, after a couple of years with him, like my times dropped from around like floating around 11 seconds to the 10.4 mark, and then the year after the 10.3 mark, and then yeah,
So
we are now.
that's impressive. Yeah, that's impressive in itself. So again, it'd be interesting to kind of understand what training methods did you start doing differently the moment you started training with Linford Christie, because yeah, to kind of go from 11.3 and then all of a sudden it's like, whew, like proper under 11 is crazy. So how did that happen?
There was two. So the first thing is I had a proper gym program in Southampton. We didn't really have facilities to be doing the gym program that would kind of get you to that kind of elite level. That was the main thing. And another thing was I was more focused on the outside of training, which is like the sleep and recovery. I was probably before then I was accustomed to like 5 hours, which
yeah,
yeah, anyone will tell you that's not cutting it.
The nights out we went on.
So when I
Now,
started to focus,
boys, I might actually have to ask you a quick question because I'm on that 5 hours of sleep at the minute, and it's killing me. How do you guys? Sorry, this is a complete side note, but how do you guys
yeah,
manage your sleep? Because yeah, man, I'm literally like struggling here with 5 hours. I'm trying to get 7.
What, you struggle to get to sleep, or you're struggling on 5 hours sleep?
No, yeah, I think it's just a routine. Like once I get into bed, like I wake up in like 3 hours or 4 hours, and then I gotta like wrestle to get back to sleep.
yeah. I mean, I never sleep, or I rarely sleep solidly through the night. Like I won't just fall asleep for 8 hours. Maybe if I had like a really difficult session and I'm just conked, but a lot of the time I do wake up after a couple of hours. But that just happens. I just don't look at my phone, just try and get straight back to sleep. But the change happened really for me because the year after I graduated from my master's, I worked in a bar. So I was finishing training maybe 2 p.m., working in the bar from 3 p.m. till 2 a.m., and then training
Wow.
at 8 a.m. And yeah, I had no improvement that year. And the year afterwards, when I started a new job and was able to kind of pick up on my sleep, make sure I was getting 8+ hours, that's the year that I improved kind of down to 10.4 from the 11-second mark that I was at before.
Wow. How about you, Oli?
I go through stages of sleep. Like sometimes I can sleep solidly for 12 hours, and then the
Yeah.
next time I'm waking up every hour. But I mean, I've got a Whoop, so I track all my sleep and stuff on here. So yeah,
Power Rangers.
yeah.
Power Rangers, that's it.
Um,
And Ollie, in terms of your like progression, when
yeah.
did you like that go sub 10? Sorry, sub 11 speed?
So the year I mentioned, I was around 11.3 as well. That was 2012. So that would been the London Olympics. I did English schools around 11 to 11.2 or something there. And then for me anyway, it was just, I think it was puberty, to be honest. I went from 11.2, 11.3 that straight into like 10.8 the next year. And that would have been 2014. I came second at English schools. And then 2015 was like my first like I've actually dropped massive time. I went from like 10.8 to like 10.4. 2015, and then I went to from that year I went to World Under 18s, came fourth, and then since then it's just been When did we move, Dan? Because we moved in the same
2018.
2018. So between 2012 and 2018, I was with our old coaches Gary and Sarah, which towards the latter end of that, from 2016 onwards, I was just we were having too much fun. We'd go out.
Ollie turned 18 and
Very much, yeah.
raps.
I turned 18 and we went out twice a week for the whole year. I went out 2 days. I went out 2 days before flying to World Juniors.
Wow.
And then something just hit me. I was like, okay, if I actually want to progress at this, I need to switch up. So same as Dan, to be honest. There wasn't really support in terms of gym. Like, we didn't really have that. So I decided to move in 2018, 2019 for uni, but then train at the same time, and this been night and day difference since. Just
Wow.
the gym is a massive factor.
So my question now is like, whenever I see people run those times, those speeds, what does it actually feel like? So obviously you guys have experienced 11.3, you've left me behind, but now running 10.3, 10.1, what does it feel like? Does it, as you do it now, do you feel like your arms are moving quicker, the wind's hitting you differently? Like, do you notice any difference in, I guess on the track when you're running those times?
I've got a good answer. It's comparing. So I've had a very different year this year compared to last year. I've had struggles of injuries and everything this year. From what I remember last year, when you're actually running fast and you're having a good season, everything seems easy. Like you do things without thought. Like it just comes so natural. But when you only have a bit of injuries, a bit of adversity going on, everything just seems hard work. Like that's what I think anyway. So to me, it's running fast it feels easy when you're actually PBing.
Yeah, it sounds as if like you're saying like things just go like smoother. It's like
Yeah,
kind of effortless. It kind of
effortlessly.
feels effortless like when you're going, man. Which I imagine like when you're in like kind of like that flow state, that's when it like hits you real good. But you mentioned, Ollie, that you've had a few setbacks and injuries
Yeah.
at the moment. What do you want to talk us a little bit through those?
So I've had a few over the years. Recently this year, well, not even this year, it started last year. Um, there was the Diamond League in London. It had been July last. Was it June or July? July last year. Doing relay practice. Was repping with Zarnell. Down the back straight. All good. Repping fast. Great session. Woke up. That was on the Wednesday. Woke up Thursday and couldn't walk. Like my Achilles was absolutely finished. Like finished. And still ran on the weekend. It was painful, and had like 3 weeks off. Thought it was fine, still painful. Ended the season, and since that point, it's just been agony, like agony.
Mm.
Since then, I know what was wrong with it. I ended up getting an injection in July this year. It's 3 weeks before our British champs, which was obviously way too late. But it was literally a year of minimum 7 out of 10 pain every single day, and trying to train on it. So it's just it eats away at you.
Were you pushing yourself pretty hard on it because of the prize of the Olympics?
Yeah.
Qualifying for that.
Like in my honest hand on my heart, I can say if I didn't have that thing going on last year, I'd have been in the Olympics for the relay minimum.
Really?
But sport, in it comes at Olympics every 4 years, and it never goes. It's plain sailing ever.
How old are you now, Oli?
I'm 26.
Oh, great age.
He's got another one in him.
Great,
He's got another one in him.
great age. Plenty of
We'll
time.
see.
Great
We'll
age.
see. Minimum. I mean, you look at the Olympic. You'll see the Olympics on Friday, Saturday, Sunday with 100 meters. All them boys are like the decent ones are like 28, 29, 30, 31.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, we'll
So,
see.
it's all right. How about you, Daniel? How about you? And have you had any injuries yourself through the years?
Yeah, I had my first proper injury this year. I got quite lucky. I had a good run of maybe 5 years with no issues, but this year, indoors, I at the British Champs, I tore my sartorius, which is like a muscle kind of that wraps around the quads. I did the rehab from that. A month later, we flew out to Florida, with Linford, the group, and we were there for 6 weeks. The week 2, I think I was back running normally. Probably a bit too early. I was running around the bend, just doing a 200 in training. Like the area around my sartorius felt a bit tight, and I was like, it was only the session was 2 runs. I was like, I can do the next one. I'll be fine. Got maybe 50 meters into the bend and felt what I describe as like a slingshot that straight down my quad. And then I found out when I got home, I got an MRI scan. I tore the central tendon in my quad. So that was another, how many weeks was that? I think probably 2 months to be back fully fit from then. May, June, July. Month and a half. I was able to race in July, early July. I was hoping to make British champs because, Olympic trials. I was trying to risk it all. I did a couple races early July. I managed to get down to 10.5, which I was surprised by considering all the training I'd missed. I did one race too many, and the scar tissue around my tendon that was injured got aggravated, set me back another month. And I'm racing this weekend. Hopefully everything's clear. I've been training for the last month with no issues, so yeah. Might be
Jez,
back.
it sounds like these muscle injuries like a rite of passage to being a sprinter. Like even the way Daniel said, he was like, yeah, so this is my first year getting my first injury. It sounds like being a sprinter, like it's the badge, like it's coming at some point.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's a lot of load on your body. You can do everything right and still have issues. You just see that with the top elite level. Everyone's going to get injured at some point. But I will say I've learned a lot this year from having the injury. I feel a lot more in tune with my body, so I can kind of tell when something's going wrong, something doesn't feel quite right. So I always say like there is some positive stuff come from it. Because I'd never been injured before, I didn't really feel, I want to say, connected to my body in the way that like I know when there's a problem. Whereas now I feel like I do, which
Yeah, I guess you guys are both like pretty young as well in the sport in terms of like, rehab and looking after your body in that respect. I mean, Oli, you just mentioned that like, before juniors you were going on the lash like a couple of nights beforehand. Are you guys like super into your rehabilitation now and recovery, etc.?
I mean, I guess I mean, you have to be at this level. I mean, I think everyone who wants to get to this level or even past this level, there's no question of it, you're gonna get injured. And the quicker you are, the worse the injuries are. That is how it goes. But if you want to actually succeed, if you hurt something, I snapped my tendon in my hamstring a couple of years ago. I like was close to surgery, but luckily it was like feathered on still. But you need to rehab them because you need to get you need to get it back stronger than it was before. Otherwise, you're gonna have issues. But yeah, rehab is a long and long
So,
and boring process.
Yeah.
so you suggesting that the human body should not be doing those speeds? Because again,
Absolutely.
that's the thing,
Put
especially
it
at a
this
young
way.
age.
Put it this
Yeah,
way,
go
if
on.
in 40 years' time, I'm gonna be. Can I swear on it?
Yeah, you can throw it
I'm
like,
gonna
Say what you want.
I'm gonna be fucked. I'm gonna be fucked. Okay, put it this way. The thing that's wrong with my Achilles is something that people don't get in at age 26. I've got calcification in my Achilles. Only athletes will get that. It's stuff 40, 50-year-olds get. I've got a bulged disc in my back. I've got
Wow.
I've got everything going on. But that's
But, you know,
I mean, anyone who lifts heavy in the gym or whatever would have a bulged disc in their back probably, but
It's
yeah.
crazy because, like, in every sport, everyone always talks about, for example, in like rugby, it's about head concussions. In like football, I think there was also a little bit of chat in football around like heading the ball and concussions as
at a
well
young age, especially. Yeah.
at a young age. And then also like boxing, for example, there's like give and takes like in all these sports, but like when you want to achieve that highest level, these are kind of the things that you've just like Ollie, you've just accepted. Daniel just accepted that, look, I'm gonna have to push my body to these heights, that I'm gonna have to accept the fact that I'm gonna be, as you said, Ollie, fucked when it comes
Yeah.
to 60, because of all these accumulated injuries that I've picked up. But it sounds as if to achieve a gold or to win champs,
Yeah,
etc., that's something that you guys are willing to do.
definitely.
Are you taking stuff to help you to train and run on days? So like you two as well, Daniel. Are you guys taking stuff? Stuff sounds wild.
Stuff,
You
yeah.
guys taking stuff.
I was like, what's he doing?
Say supplements.
But like painkillers. You guys say again, are you taking like painkillers
Oh,
to be able to train?
I used to. I don't. I only take painkillers to race now because taking painkillers to train is only detrimental.
yeah.
If you're masking the pain just to be able to train, then you probably shouldn't be training. You probably should be getting healthy.
Yeah.
Because if you need painkillers to train, then racing is gonna be a lot worse.
So for me, with my Achilles, I was dealing with ridiculous pain, and it got so bad I went to the doctors and I got prescribed naproxen. Like it helped. Don't get me wrong, but it absolutely fucked my stomach up. And then from that, I don't know if it was linked or like apparently it like does something to your stomach lining. That's what you have to take omeprazole to help protect it. But from that, I think it made this next thing I'm about to say a lot worse. When I was in training camp in Tenerife, I got a stomach infection and I was finished. I was in hospital. I lost 5 kilos in 5 days. My stomach is probably literally went back to normal about last month, and it's been a good few months. And I'm just about getting back to normal weight. But yeah, I wouldn't say painkillers. Painkillers are not the way to go at all,
Absolutely.
unless you need them for race day.
Yeah.
No, boys, I have just to pivot a little bit. I've got a question. So I don't know if you boys have watched. Have you guys ever watched Nightcap?
No.
No, I
No,
don't think so.
so it's a show on YouTube with Shannon Sharp and a guy called Ocho Cinco, who are former NFL players, and they offered a couple of the US national team, I think about 200K worth of money, well, $200,000 that they were going to give them if they won gold for the USA. They did this because they were highlighting like how much, like the fact that these guys are representing their countries but they're not getting paid sufficiently enough. from an athletic standpoint, what do you guys think needs to be done to improve, pay for athletes, like yourself?
Jez, before then even ask, I think it might be worth asking, winning gold for the UK or Team GB in the Olympics, how much would someone win? Because I think in the US they were saying that they win about $25K. But yeah, winning gold at the Olympics, how much? Do you have an idea? What would win?
Zero. The way I see it is, you'll get zero from GB. It's everything you'll get after that. Like if Dan won an Olympic gold medal in the 100 meters, he's not getting a penny off Team GB. He'll get a massive contract from Nike if he hasn't already got one. He'll be on this show, he'll be on that show, he'll be on this show. And I think it's everything that comes after from it is where you make all the money.
And then do you guys think that's right, or should there be something from GB sorting you guys out a nice little paycheck?
I don't think so, personally.
It's difficult because I feel like the only people really that struggle with the concept of not being paid, I don't know, the same as what footballers are paid, are the people that have kind of been on contracts their whole lives and they don't really know what to do when they're no longer funded. But I would say for someone like me who's always just done athletics while funding myself, it's not. I'm just still doing what I'm doing. If I go and win a major champs medal and get some sponsorship from it, then like great. Like I've now got a bit of extra money. But Linford was the same in the sense that if you watch his documentary, he was never funded. He kind of he was actually getting benefits from the government to fund himself. And he always says like you won't achieve anything without a struggle. So for me, like the whole struggling and balancing the finance is part of it. And if anything, it helps because I think if everything was given to me, if where I am now at kind of the elite level, but not at the top, not contesting for Olympic medals, if I was now given, I don't know, a 100K contract, I don't think it would help me because I'd be like, oh, I'm comfortable. I don't need to really do anything more, you know?
Yeah. So you mentioned Linford there. So what's it like? You've been obviously training underneath him for a while now, couple of years. What's he like as a coach? Obviously, we know from the outside looking in, but yeah, what's he like being coaching or
it's great. He's great. He's probably, I want to say he's the most successful track athlete we've had. People, obviously Daley Thompson was up there as well, but for me, he held Olympic, Commonwealth, European, and world champion in the 100 meters all at the same time, and I don't see anyone, let alone a Brit, being able to accomplish that again. He's tough, obviously, because his coach was tough, and he's just adopted similar, and he knows what he just knows what it takes to be great. So if we're slacking, he'll immediately know, and he'll be able to say like, "Look, I've been there. So if you wanna make it, this is what you got to do." And it helps to have him when we're competing at British champs and stuff like that. It's all there's no situation we're gonna be in that he hasn't himself been in. So he knows the answer to everything. It's like a cheat code.
No, I hear that. How about you, Oli? Who you coached by? So I think it was like Speed Works or something like that. But yeah,
So my coach is Marvin Rowe. It's complete opposite story to what Dan said. He's never touched a track in his life. He's never touched a track in his life. But so he's an S&C coach by I think your brother might have been coached by him when he's been injured or something.
Oh really?
His best mate actually, Jonas.
Oh
Jonas.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So them two are best mates, and that's how my coach Marvin got into track and field pretty much. But yeah, he's never stepped a foot on the track. He's never raced. He's half decent at football, but yeah, he knows what he's on about.
I would say me and Oli, our coaches have completely different philosophies because obviously where Marvin's come from a S&C background, he's a lot more technical, whereas Linford is just heavy training load, and just run the shit out of us. So yeah, it's completely different. Obviously, it's argued which one is more
It's a
more
balance.
beneficial. But I think it's a balance. But either can work.
There's like old school coaches and new school
Yeah,
coaches.
yeah,
Linford's old school and my coach is more new school.
Yeah, fair play, boys. I guess let's quickly touch on the sort of Linford documentary, and some of the stuff. So I saw in it. Obviously, Daniel, you featured. Just to quickly touch on like someone who's perceived to be like one of our greatest Olympians ever, and the stuff that he went through, in particular around racism, being over sexualized as well. Firstly, were you aware of that before you saw the documentary, and like what did that give you extra respect for him for what he's done? Daniel, just tell us a little bit about your experience taking part in that documentary and some of your key takeaways from it.
yeah. Of course. I mean, obviously, I was aware. Probably not to the extent of how it affected him. Like, obviously, they showed clips of him when he was younger. Because obviously, him talking about it now is after the fact, so he's reflecting on it. Probably doesn't come across as emotional as maybe he was in the moment. So to see him kind of get emotional, there was a scene where he was in an interview and they were basically trying to gaslight him into telling him that it's not that deep when he was telling them, yeah, it does affect me. So seeing that and the frustration, yeah, I mean, I have utmost respect for him anyway, but yeah, I'd say a bit more respect for him there. Uh, as when it comes to being featured in it, I feel like because it's been such a long time that I've been coached by him, having the cameras kind of follow us on training camp and come to training, it's not like something uh I'll say it doesn't feel any different if you know what I mean. Like it's just expected when you're coached by someone like Linford. It's the same as if we go to competitions. Obviously, there's going to be people asking for photos, wanting to talk to him. It just comes with his history. But I will say I hope that the documentary does kind of shed more of a light on him, because I don't think he gets the respect that he does deserve. Obviously, with all his accolades.
Yeah, definitely. Has he ever? Because I know a lot of the former athletes who have been Olympians for the UK usually do some sort of hosting gig or something. Has he ever thought about that, or has he ever wanted to be on like the BBC
Because
reporting on
of
it?
something that happened, well, he was doing the BBC commentary after he retired, but then obviously there was an incident after that, and they kind of cut ties, and they never reinstated him. So it's yeah. I think if he was doing the commentary, sport would be a lot more entertaining. I'll just say that because he does have a lot to say.
Fair enough, boys. Well, cool. Awesome. So in terms of you guys and your futures in the sport, we'll start with you, Oli. What is like the end goal, right? I know obviously Olympics are, everyone's kind of dream, but for you specific, do you have like specific goals that you want to achieve before you get out of the sport?
Obviously, I mean, the Olympics is the main one, and for me, sub 10 is like it's the barrier. It's the one that you want to break, and I genuinely think it is achievable. It's just been a very tough year, and I'm debating everything. But we'll see, we'll see. But yeah, that's Olympics would have been nice this year, and it was probably the perfect year to do it. But yeah,
Yeah.
so.
And what's the difference between, an athlete who can hit sub 110 like once in a while on a blue moon, and an athlete that can consistently hit below sub 10?
What do you mean?
Like, so what's, because obviously I've come across a load of GB sprinters in the past that have,
Yeah.
like, on one day they've managed to absolutely smash it and they hit underneath that sub 10. But I think we struggle in terms of, there's not a lot of athletes that are consistently in the GB in like the GB setup that are consistently hitting that sub 1 or sub 10 number.
I'd say, I mean, firstly, doing it at places that actually matter. Like
Mhm.
if you can do it at bloody Olympics or World Champs, you're gonna probably do it anywhere. If you're doing it at some random ass meet that no one really knows about, then are you really gonna be able to do it at the Olympics? But
Do you feel like nerves help?
huh?
Do you feel like nerves, so again, a bigger event, so feeling a bit more anxious, maybe the butterflies going a bit more. Do you think that helps you to run quicker time?
I'd say so, yeah, for sure. I mean, it depends who you are. But personally, for me, I know I haven't been to bloody Olympics or even like Worlds or anything, but I don't even get the slightest bit of adrenaline anymore. Like it's, I find it more. Get more adrenaline bloody walking down a street where people might look at me than lining up in a massive stadium. Like genuinely, I've done it for so long that it doesn't phase me at all anymore. And I don't know. I can't say what it would be like if I was on the Olympic start line, but that's for me.
That's what
I don't.
pre-workout's for.
Yeah, exactly. What
Fair. And Daniel, in terms of yourself as well, what's your ultimate goal before you get out of the sport?
For me, I've always said that I'm just gonna do it while I enjoy it. I think uh Ollie said similar to me, like the minute it's no longer enjoyable, then obviously just move on. But for where I started, I would say where I started after uni, it's still fresh, so I'm still learning a lot, and it doesn't get boring. But I'm different to Ollie, where I get adrenaline every time I line up. Like I just what I live for. So um it I I don't like setting those kind of goals. Obviously, I want to represent GB at major champs. Like who wouldn't? Like, but I wouldn't say that's the aim. The aim is just to keep enjoying it and just put everything I can into it, which is what I'd say I've been doing.
Okay.
Awesome, man.
You got a question? I've got a pivot. I was gonna ask a pivot question actually, but go on. If you got a follow
No,
up
go
question,
ahead,
ask
mate.
it back.
Go ahead.
So I feel like when it comes to athletics, there's a lot of chat around doping, and again, it'd be interesting to see if there's going to be anything off the back of that with the Olympics. But yeah, I guess for me, my question to you guys is: do you feel like there is doping around the sport? And yeah, what are your thoughts on it?
Of course, there's doping. There's doping in every sport. I think
Interesting.
in this day and age, you hear about it less because it's probably a lot more under the people aren't getting caught. But yeah, there's a lot going on. I think personally, that's just me. I don't know no inside information, but that's just what I
Ollie,
think.
Ollie, you did say it yourself, right? Like in terms of our bodies are probably not meant to hit those speeds. So
Yeah. Do you know what? I mean, I know what the aim is of them. It allows you to, let's say you got a hard session, it allows you to do that hard session and come back the next day and do another hard session, and then come back the next day and do another hard session, where the normal human body can't do that. It just allows you to recover quicker.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's what I know.
I think it's something that exists. So I feel like as athletes, it's something you just have to accept. I think if you dwell on it and kind of look at it and start putting yourself down, like, oh, I can't compete with people because they may or may not be taking something to help them, then it's time to quit, because I feel like all you can do is train as hard as you can and just get on the start line and run as fast as you can. But if you kind of
How
get too deep into it, then that's when it becomes an issue for you as an athlete.
Okay, and how easy? Because again, and this happens across every single sport, from boxing to again American football, basketball, where an athlete will come out and say, "I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I haven't taken anything." So again, like, how easy is it for those kind of, I guess, the illegal substances to come up in your diet? Like, are people chatting like absolute nonsense, or is it? Because again, it'd be interesting to know. Maybe there's some steroids in my meat. Who knows? Like, but again, like, how like is that actually a thing? Like, do you guys, when you hear that, do you always hear that like, yeah, you're chatting shit, mate, or is it actually possible?
But I mean, personally, I think 9 times out of 10, if you fail a drug test, you you were taking something. In my opinion, maybe 1% of the time you may have a cross-contaminated supplement, but 9 times out of 10, in my opinion, if you've had a drugs test, you were taking something.
I mean, some of the cases you see the substance that's found, and that's hard to come by. So for it to be found
Bro, yeah, you ain't finding it. You ain't finding it in your steak. You ain't finding it in your Taco Bell. That's a
yeah,
one up.
like
Someone finding their Taco Bell.
that would have been one expensive Taco Bell, you know?
Yeah, bro, literally.
So yeah, that's what I feel like. But again, it's not something that for me is worth speculating on because it's not really in your control. You can't control what people are gonna do. You can't control whether or not they're taking anything, and you'll never know. So, say the more speculation you do as an athlete, I feel like the worse it will be for your mental. You know, I think it's better to leave it to people that aren't in the sport to let them judge.
Okay.
And also, I was just thinking, like, I've seen my brother, um, uh, get woken up at like 5 a.m. in the morning with British doping control, whatever, knocking on our door and like asking him to take a piss into a cup, and they're standing over him like watching it. I'm like, have you guys experienced that? Like, that's freaking weird.
Yeah, I've had a few. I've had a few. I mean, you get him at the weird. I went to a random meet in Germany. During a year, I was injured. I came sick, and they drug tested me. But yeah, it's a weird old experience because you got to pull your trousers down to your knees and lift your t-shirt up, and then yeah, piss in a cup while someone watches. At eye
I just
level.
imagine the eye contact. I can just imagine the eye contact, like when you're struggling, and he looks at you.
Sometimes they let
Go
you
on, then.
just piss on your own, but yeah,
Like,
it's
well, I trained with Bianca Williams, and she was saying before she went to the Olympics, there was a period where every morning, I think she said like 6 a.m. for a week straight, they were just knocking on her door. I was like, yeah,
Wow.
that sounds rough. But,
That's ridiculous.
Wow.
but like, it's I feel like it's part of the job. Like once you're at that level where they're tracking you, yeah, it's part of it. It's not.
Yeah.
I think it helps the sport because it shows that they're actually testing people. If you never heard of
Yeah.
any stories of people being tested, you'd be a bit worried.
No, I feel you on that. And with with the track and field starting Friday, so obviously you guys will have some friends that'll be running this weekend. So who should we be looking out for?
in
Do you
what
want to
event?
go first with your
What
opinions?
are we talking about?
All of them.
Any event. So anyone that you think that we should look out for.
Obviously, Zarnell got Linford's British record last year. His last race before the Olympics, about a month ago, he pulled up, which was a bit worrying. But he came back and ran the Diamond League. He ran 10 flat, which I don't. To come back from an injury and run 10 flat, I think that means he's in shape. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see him snatch a medal in the 100. But it's difficult this year. You got Kashane, you got Noah, you got Ben Curley. So see, I believe in the Brits. So I'm always
Yeah,
going to say
who's doing the best out of the Brits then, Dan?
okay. So also Louis Hitchcock, I've doubted him from the start. So I'm done doubting Louis because every time I say he's not going to do something, he does something. I said he wasn't going to win the NCAAs. He won NCAAs. I said he wasn't going to
You
win
said he was
British
going to win this? I said he was. I'll put right. He's making final. I'm telling you,
I think Louis Hinchcliffe will make the final.
he'll make the final.
If he could get a medal, I'll be so happy. But it's a
That
tough.
might be pushing it, but
The bottle you have to have to not only run in an Olympic final but to execute the best race of your life. I don't think that could be done in your first Olympics. But as I said, I've doubted him all year, and he's proven me wrong. So Louis Hinchcliffe, yeah, he's gonna get a medal.
whoa.
Jez, do we have time for one more? I think we've got the time running out.
Yeah, we've got time.
Okay, cool. So we'd like to sign off by asking, so our final question, so you guys both being athletes, professional athletes, if you were to have a dinner party, which 4 athletes or which 4 sports people would you want at your dinner party and why? So I'll go with you, Oli, first, because I don't think I actually mentioned it to Daniel. So in case to give Daniel an extra couple of minutes. Oli,
You did mention to me, but I forgot.
is it what?
Is it from any time period, or they have to be?
Yeah, anytime. So dead alive, any sports, They don't even have to be an athlete. They could be a commentator if you're going to be like, oh, I love how it used to be on FIFA, for example. So like, it could be anything or anyone you want. But yeah, Ollie, you go first because I gave you time, boy.
Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Um,
Why
probably
Michael? Maybe give us a why as well. Give us a why.
because he keeps coming off my stuff on my Instagram, all these reels about dedication and bro, it makes me motivated. Probably someone like bloody Conor McGregor, because that man has been through. That man has done stuff that people can't even.
Been through some shit.
Been through some shit. And let me go for Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
That's three, isn't it? Did you ask for 4 or 3?
Yeah, give one more. I think so. I thought you couldn't think of one more. So I was going to allow him.
You're not going to chuck Bolt in there?
Nah, it's no one from track and field.
Oh.
No one from track and field. Lewis Hamilton.
That's a good.
So proper superstars. Okay.
Yeah.
Why Lewis? Obviously,
Right,
being a Brit.
He's a G. Best Formula One driver of all time.
Love that.
Anyone who's achieved a lot consistently and knows how to get to a certain level. I'd surround yourself by people, be like, right, surround yourself by the very best. So yeah, I'm sure you'd learn a lot with them.
Awesome.
Love that. How about you, Daniel?
Daniel, over to you, man.
I was just debating in my head. I think I'll go for Usain Bolt because obviously. David Goggins. I think
That's a
good.
good. He's not an athlete.
Huh?
He's not an athlete.
He's an athlete.
Hey, that guy does.
Navy SEAL, bloody doctor, everything.
Even though I interact with him every day, I'll put Linford there because I want to see him interact with other people of like who have achieved as much as he is. I think just chuck him in there. And 4, I had one in my head that slipped my mind.
That's 2.
Let's go Jesse Owens. Jesse Owens, yeah. Another influential track and field athlete, yeah.
So you said Usain Bolt, and the time I forgot what's the world record again?
58.
9:58. So do you think that record can be broken, or is that done? No one's catching that. Or
I think the 200 will be broken before the 100. I think that's more in the scope.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Noah, he could do it at the Olympics. I think he looked in better shape last year, but it's Noah. He can do it. The 100s, I think we need to see people running closer to 9.6 more consistently before we see that record go.
Okay, so you anticipate the final will probably be 9.7s?
Yeah.
Well,
okay,
I'd say so.
Okay, awesome, boys. Just a question as well. What's the best lineup that you guys have ever seen at a 100-meter final in any like a championship or anything? Because I remember when you had this is my best lineup. You had a Safa Powell, you had Usain Bolt, you had Johan Blake, you had who was that USA? Gatlin, and then
we haven't
seen a lineup like that since.
No, you haven't. No. You haven't. I don't know. It'll be a while till you do see a lineup like that.
I mean, the women's of recent are kind of doing something. You got like Sharika Jackson.
That's true. We didn't talk about
Richardson. Elaine Thompson. She's done nothing though. Shelly-Anne.
I think you might be right. With the women's, you are seeing probably the best lineups we've ever seen for the women's.
Because the women's world record is wiped off.
So give it to us here then. So who's winning the men's 100? Who's winning the women's 100?
Do your top 3, Dan.
Kashane, Noah, Louis Hinchcliffe / Zarno Hughes. They have to be in there somewhere. A Brit will get something. The women's, Sharika's just pulled out like a couple hours ago, so I'll go for sha'carri. I don't think is beatable at the moment. Um, Shelley, I'm gonna give it. I have to put Shelley there, and then third place. I'm I'm not I'm not sure. Maybe is Julian doing the two or just the one or just the two?
I was gonna say for the two, for the one. So if she's in the
Yeah.
one,
Yeah, if she's in the one, Julian, I think.
I'm gonna say Kashane first, Noah Lyles, Fred Curley.
Where's your British pride?
Further back,
Wait,
further back,
that's
and then
a big
women.
old Brit.
Yeah,
Right.
the women, sha'carri, Julian Alfred if she's in it, and then Shelly-Anne.
You heard it.
Boys,
You heard it here first.
I've got one to kind of like end it, unless after you've got any other question in the back pocket. But so are you both of you boys young single lads?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not.
Well, the Olympic Village, mate. Yeah, I've heard stories that
I've
it
heard the same
becomes
stories. Trust me.
It's
yeah,
insane.
is it's insane is what Dan says. Are you? Is that one of the top reasons why going to the Olympics would be a lot of fun?
Oh, I would be
It's
too
probably.
focused on my competition, so I don't think I would be indulging
I mean,
personally.
when you're finished, you can indulge all you want. You can indulge as much as you want afterwards.
Hinge will be a madness out there. I can imagine. I even considered changing my Hinge profile to Paris just to see what will pop up. You can
I've seen
imagine.
people on TikTok have been doing that, you know. It's
Damn.
Oh,
a
have they?
thing. People.
It's crazy though, right? When you think about it, you've got like all the most athletic people on the planet in one
Please.
space.
That
It
is-
must be
Yeah.
nuts.
Nuts.
But I would never recommend dating an athlete. Like
Hurry up.
there's a lot that comes with it. Like obviously my partner is also an athlete, but I can't see how it would work if she wasn't. Like the
I'd say that.
schedule.
I reckon someone who or wasn't. Okay, we call people civilians. We call people who don't do sport civilians. If they don't understand sport, then it probably won't be the best. But if they understand sport, like have done sport, have been involved in sport, then yeah, they'll understand. In my opinion.
Yeah, to be fair, a lot of athletes do say that. They say like because of the dedication and the amount of energy and time you put towards the sport, sometimes you come back home, you're not really present, and you're just kind of just focused and just being the best. So I can imagine being in a relationship with someone that's not an athlete, they don't understand your life.
No.
Yeah, it could be a lot of beef at home.
Yeah, because I think it's a lot to ask for someone to respect that they are not going to be your priority most of the time, which is it's difficult to ask, which is why I say I wouldn't. You have to be prepared for a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah, for sure.
Boys, I've thoroughly enjoyed that chat. I hope you guys did as well.
It's good.
Hopefully, you know what, I'm with you, Daniel. Let's hope some British pride. So we get some medals on the track and field side of things.
Yeah.
Let's be hopeful for Zarnell. I think is probably our best hope, right? But yeah, boys, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you. Best of luck with your recoveries and getting back up and onto the sub 10. Fingers crossed.
Daniel running next week, Jez. Or this week, Daniel?
Yeah, a couple of days. Saturday, yeah.
All right, good luck, bro. Okay, go get that world record.
Good luck, Daniel. Good luck.
Good luck, bro.
And then afterwards we can go out. My season's done. My season's finished.
Yeah, I got a couple more weeks. We could do it.
See what
Wait,
kind of them.
boys, is there any rivalry between you two?
Nah. There never would be. Even if we were like top 2 in the UK, it would be friendly rivalry.
Yeah.
I think for the 10 seconds of the race, we'd be rivals, and then afterwards it would just be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many times we raced? A couple of times.
Yeah, and I was winning until 60 meters.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think we've raced like 2-3 times.
All right. Well, look, like, share, subscribe, everyone. Thank you so much. Share. And yeah, we'll speak to you guys soon. That's the Sports After Party podcast.
Welcome to the party.
I'm a different type of rock star. I got class and I got Henny overflowing up my shot glass. And yeah, I know I'm not a keeper, but can you be my mama seater by the time I'm done with